Mm-hmm.
Hello, guys. We're going to read a short treatise on the matter of sex magic and the cup of Hermes. Frater Sapientia understood the tenets of not spilling the mercury of Hermes' cup. However, what is the aspirant alchemist to do when the prima materia that sits in the root devolves into dissolution and it's of a useless way? A left-handed waste of the generative force. Therefore, Frater Sapientia took upon the magic of ancient alchemy. Sorers would be more familiar with the language of the Kegel exercise. Yet our art is always of both divine emanations of male and female. Men do their Kegels with their anus. For the point of orgasm for the male sage can be stopped through applying pressure from the muscles of the perineum, or what's called the pelvic floor, and they can stop ejaculate from spilling during the heave of heaven's Holy Spirit when it comes down into the microcosmic plane, having an orgasm. This practice of edging, you have to edge for this. I edge for about 3 hours. And applying pressure to near climax, Frater Sapientia, was accomplished to 2 hours of the art. When at the moment of the holy dove's true arrival, the perineum was squeezed so hard as to stop the holy cup of Hermes from overflow into this gross world. Of this realm as much as to allow the vessels of blood. Oh, I was accomplished to the work, and I was going to attain the work, no matter if the vessels of blood from my brain had to drop and inflict unconsciousness upon myself. If that was what it took, I had the dedication to the art. I never stop, especially at the point of manifestation. For that would be a sin against myself, and to tell my subconscious that my will, and our will really, is not made of iron and gold, but is made of clay and it is pliable, thus being truly losers. This is this is true loser behavior, and the sage wins all matters of the flesh. Frater Sapientia was relegated to this task of the internal male orgasm and transmuted the seed of life. With solid breath control of the fourfold technique under the brink of losing the mysterious battle I had never been in before, Frater Sapientia attained the samadhi state of the orgasm for over 2 minutes, which is really men have orgasms for about 10 to maybe 25 seconds and done. So
Yeah, I know.
I obtained an orgasm for 2 minutes, dude. Crazy.
Good for you.
Well, this is sex magic. This
Yeah, I
is,
know.
yeah. I never spilled a drop of the prima materia. I arose from my sweet-ass car bed triumphant. I was sweating. I had bloodshot eyes from strain, burst blood vessels in my head and arms. The minor opus was achieved and attained. I bowed before the choir of seraphim that I had evoked into 12 black mirrors side by side to witness this act of grand magical transmutation. The choir began to applaud. Frater Sapientia received a 7-minute standing ovation, fellas and ladies. From these disincarnate entities, yea, I received a standing 7-minute ovation. Now let's talk about that. Do you have any questions, Dave?
I don't get how the not ejaculating thing works.
Okay,
Because
so
it's not like you're pulling out.
okay, so for men, have you ever done Kegels? It's where you like put what's called Benoit balls in your pussy. They're
No.
metal balls, and then
No.
you squeeze them with your pussy muscles.
They use those in therapy treatments for individuals who have weak.
It's called
Pelvic
Kegel
muscles,
exercises, and it's meant to you can
Now
even
that you
do
say
it
that, I
without
know
those
that,
things.
yeah.
You could strengthen up your pussy muscles just by you. This is women can do this too. Basically, You could feel your asshole. Close your asshole. When you close your asshole, that's called closing the pelvic floor. Along with that, now keep it closed for 20 seconds and then start feeling that other muscle that for men would be in the gooch.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes from, for men, it goes from what's it called? Like, what do we have that makes us come?
Prostate?
Yeah, from the prostate through the perineum are fluidic nerves that are attached to the coccyx, which is attached to the spinal cord, which is all the way attached to the vasovagal nerve.
Yeah.
It's a cranial nerve. And so before doing any of this, you have, like, men have to do this. I had to work on this every day for 20 minutes. I would do Kegel exercises. So you close your asshole and you feel that thing that's in the gooch, and that goes. For men, it feels like a very tight muscle that goes from the ass, inside the asshole, to the ballsack. And there, in between, in the gooch, there is a muscle that tightens. That is what you're focused on. You want to tighten that for as long as possible with your feet firmly planted on the ground in God pose, which is your palms down, feet down, and your pelvic floor closed, which is closing your asshole. And you sit there for 20 minutes with your eyes closed doing full breath. If you do that for like a month, every day or every couple of days a week, you will get your perineum will get stronger. How men shoot ejaculate out of their dick is, or how it comes out from the balls through the penis, is through the perineum muscles.
Yeah.
If you can clench it at the time, like, you have to be good and you have to know your body. I'm also on antidepressants. I was on the SSRI. I think I might have been on Paxil at this time. Paxil, I have a hard time coming. I don't have a hard time getting hard very much, but coming is hard, and then I just lose my erection. Because it's just, so, actually, you know what, I was not on Paxil, but I forget what I was on. I was on an SSRI at this time, though. So that helps too. But I had been on this, I had been on Prestique for like 3 years, is what it was, and it was no longer working. Yeah, because I was like, because for the fellas in the fucking group, I was telling them all that we have to work on, not having gooners in the, like, you cannot be a gooner, dude, and be a fucking hermeticist.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have anything to do with like spiritual shit and jerking off and having sex is bad or coming is bad.
Yeah.
It is that, like, a priest and rabbis go to a seminary. It's spelled Semenary, seminary. Well, funny that, right? You go, so we become our own hierophants in this great grand tradition of ours, right? Of magic and high magic, and you become a priestess or whatever or whatever hierophant, whatever you want to call yourself. We're priests.
Yeah.
We're our own priests, and we can give some advice to the other normies, I guess, muggles, whatever, like people that do not know anything about magic but are still aware and awake, like Gio from the smoke shop. He's a Christian, and because I'm very familiar with Christianity, I like Christianity. I'm a Rosicrucian. I'm a fucking esoteric Christian.
Yeah.
So, like, I get along with Christians very well, and the younger Christians they know how to, like, surf the internet and read and shit, like, so they do know that the Bible is like magic shit.
And they were born knowing that the church was corrupt and that you don't need to go to church to worship, and spirituality is not.
But yeah, I mean, Gio knew He knew all the great quotes of Jesus. Where two or more are gathered, that is my church, is what Jesus said.
Mm-hmm.
Like you like a huge. Now, I like the aestheticism, or not aestheticism. I like the aesthetics of the Catholic Church.
Mm-hmm.
I do like that because it's ceremonial, ritual magic. But I think it's fucked up that they say that they're Christians.
Yeah.
Because they're not. They worship Helios or Mithras, the sun.
Hi, baby.
Catholicism or Catholic means universal church. It doesn't mean any denomination of any kind of religion whatsoever. It's just the one. They wanted to have a one world religion a long time ago, and that's what Catholics.
That's what the
now
Spanish Crusades were about.
That's what all kinds of crazy shit was about. It's always about the religion of people and money. Money is what it comes down to. Money meaning land. That's the only thing that actually is worth anything.
Mm-hmm.
Land. God doesn't make any more of it. Here, that's why our maps are fake. And we have the fake globe.
Actually, the reason why it's like that is because it depends on the country that you're in, like how they see.
I don't. No. I've seen. All right, cartography was this. It was a making maps.
Yeah.
Cartography was this huge thing back in the day, like in 17, 16, 1500s, when they were using big ships to go all over the place to discover shit, right, and trade, right. So boats were like the main thing that people used to get around, besides horses and shit, right. So. Cartography, these men would make these beautiful maps of every, like, people would like captains would come in with information about where they had just been from, and like cartographers would sit there and they would draw it out, or they would go on these adventures and shit, and they would draw out the map. Well, dude, all right,
those motherfuckers had a photographic memory.
Babe, go look at a map from like 1600s. Okay, a lot of them, some of them are fake, or some of them have been,
doctored.
Fucked with and doctored. But there are maps out there that show, and these guys made beautiful maps. Why would they make a fantasy world? These guys were not into making fantasy back then. But there's these maps that show like. Basically what we know about. Mm-hmm. So North America, South America, Africa, China, Russia, Europe.
Yeah.
And then Iceland.
Did you say Australia?
Australia.
Yeah.
And that's how it looks like on a map and on a globe, right? Mm-hmm. You turn around. Globes were also meant just so you could look at things better, so they could spin, so you could see a map better.
Yeah.
I don't know I don't think the Earth is a planet like you think it is.
Oh no, I'm talking about.
No, but that's just an aside. I think that it probably matters on the observer, right? If it's a globe or if it's a flat plane that goes on forever in all directions, like a realm of some sort, right? Anyways, that's just an aside. The maps from like 1600s, 1500s, 1400s, they show lands that are not on more continents, far more continents in some maps, and it's like, what the fuck are these, dude? Like, it's not like people, it's not fantasy art, because it's on like expensive papyrus, and it's, you know what I'm saying, and it's drawn by these cartographers that made it'd be like Da Vinci making bullshit art of like, I don't know, he made a photo of himself, or he made a painting of himself as a woman, right?
Yeah.
Which is funny.
It's one of my favorites.
But that's dope. But that is you look at it and it's an occult picture. The Vitruvian Man is an occult picture of it shows the man as the pentagram, and it also shows the man with his arms and other spaces to show.
Are you talking about the guy who has his hands out?
The Vitruvian Man.
Yeah.
Yeah. It shows that the person can make a hexagram and pentagram with the body. Because he has 2 sets of legs, 2 sets of arms, he's making the 65, the hexagram, and the pentagram, 5 stars, the pentagram, the 5-pointed star, hexagram, 6-pointed star, 6 plus 5, 65, the number of LVX, Luke's, and also 6 plus 5 is 11, the number of the great work, and the number of the hidden 11th Sephirah, Da'ah, knowledge, sacred, secret knowledge, occult knowledge. So anyways, like, I don't know where I got on to talking about that from. I am crazy.
You said something about Aleister Crowley?
You know what?
And, like, people, like,
Aleister Crowley can bite
thinking
my
that
balls.
the Earth is
Yeah.
globe or flat, or... Because we were talking about topography.
So, I'm going to stop talking about that because I have no idea what I was talking about.
Okay.
I forget. I'm high. I'm sorry.
Me
I'm
too.
Not sorry.
It's okay.
But here's another thing. All right. So, the oath of the Bodhisattva, right? A Bodhisattva is a saint of Buddhism, right? When you get off of the wheel of samsara, finally. What a magician does is we get out of samsara in this one lifetime. We become aware as to there's something going on where like we're in like a soul recycling factory. And like if you do keep coming back here, I don't trust people that are like, yeah, fucking I have all these I'm the reincarnation of like 8 people going back to like the 1st century BC.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I don't trust your ass, motherfucker. Why have you been incarnating all these years, bitch?
Or I'm the reincarnation of Jesus. Okay, sure, buddy.
Everybody can be the reincarnation of Jesus because everybody's supposed to be.
But you know what they mean when they say that.
Yeah. People actually believe that they're the Christ. And also, by the way, the white Jesus that we all know, that white Jesus with the beard.
The further and further,
dude,
like,
no, that is a Michelangelo. Was it Michelangelo?
Yeah.
He drew. The Pope at the time. God damn it.
Commissioned him to draw a picture of.
Commission of his son.
Yeah.
What was it? And so it's his son, who everyone sees as that white Jesus with the beard and the long hair. That's actually a Pope's son.
Yeah.
That was the gay lover of like Michelangelo or possibly Da Vinci. Was it? Hold on.
I think it was Da Vinci, because Da Vinci was the one who was famous for drawing the hand of God.
No, that was Michelangelo.
It had to have been Michelangelo then.
Yeah. Pope, son, Jesus. You know what really makes me like, it gives me the ick? Caesar Borgia, the Borgia family. Yeah. Have you ever heard of what's called the Venetian black nobility? That's the true like Illuminati families. They're the ones that actually control like swaths of most of the land around the earth through companies like they own like BlackRock, they own Blackstone, BlackRock. What is that? That's Saturn, man. These people, I like my Aquarius is ruled by Saturn, the sign, right? So Aquarian people are very Saturnian a little bit. That's why maybe I could turn off emotions too, because it's the cold turning off of emotions. If I want to be disciplined, I can be. That Saturn, the sign of discipline and a strong will, form, structure. The reason that I'm off the wall though is because I have no earth in my chart. The element of earth. There's
Yeah,
no
that
earth
makes
in my
sense.
chart. Yeah, dude. I'm not.
You're like always all over the place. And I'm like, babe, please.
Yeah. A big reason why, like.
My moon is Taurus.
Huh?
Isn't Taurus an earth element?
Huh?
Taurus is an earth element.
Yeah.
He's my moon sign.
That's your moon?
Mhm.
Oh, that's, you know, we might be pretty.
Yeah. Leo is my rising and Taurus is my.
Hold on one second. Okay, so that white Jesus that everybody knows is Caesar Borgia. And let me find that juicy little. Is it Michelangelo that was sucking cock?
Pretty sure it was Michelangelo. Michelangelo's gay.
Pope Alexander IV and son Caesar Borgia, the face of Christ himself. The vicious Rodrigo Borgia, who took the name Alexander IV, 1492 to 1503, presided over more orgies than masses.
Oh my God.
Wrote Edward Gibbon. A career highlight was the 1501 Joust of the Whores,
Oh my God.
when 50 dancers were invited to slowly strip around the Pope's table.
Oh my God. That's.
Alexander and his family gleefully threw chestnuts on the floor, forcing the women to grovel on the ground at their feet like swine. They then offered prizes of fine clothes and jewelry for the man who could fornicate with the most women. It became an orgy.
Oh my God.
It became a rape orgy. Wow. Nice.
Love that.
Wow.
Love that for them.
Well, yeah. The priest class back in the day were the most fucked up people because they were the only ones that had the occult knowledge of the land.
Yeah, and they kept it to themselves.
And it was passed down from master to student and shit. And so it was the royal art. Like, the royals got treated to, an occult education too. But these cocksuckers, especially a dude he was probably like an abbot in some kind of goddamn, in an abbey, a church.
Mm-hmm.
And he was probably a cardinal or something. That book that I could not put down, Dogma et Ritual, the Transcendental Magic, with Eliphas Levi, written in the 1600s.
Oh, I need to read that.
He was a fucking dude. He was I believe he was a Jesuit, and he lived in Rome as a like a bishop or some bullshit. Or not Rome, I'm sorry. He lived in France, where, I forget where the Vatican operated out of France for a long time, before Rome became like Vatican State. Anyways, like, all those people, like, so Eliphas Levi obviously knew, in that book he talks of black magic at the end. So he knew how to do black magic. And we're talking like sex orgies like that. All that energy in a room is used to focus towards a certain thing. Now, people like this,
usually satanic rituals and shit.
They fell down. They just completely fell into their animalistic instincts of doing fucking crazy shit because no one was gonna. Who's gonna go? They own the king and queen. Yeah. Because
who's gonna tell the queen?
The queen gets her astrology information from you, and the king, you're his like teacher, and you never teach your students more than. You never teach them everything you know. Yeah. Especially when it comes to the martial art of magic, high magic. It's a martial art if you look at it. It's like Qigong. It is Qigong. It's a yoga practice, or what's called Hatha yoga, which is actionable yoga. Practically doing things. High magic is you're not sitting there in meditation going, you're actually doing rituals and stuff like that. Well, if your student knows that like you can just call upon a couple like planetary spirits and kill you the next day, and you've seen it before, and you're like, it's like you can you can deny shit over and over again, but like once you see a guy do shit over and over again and make things like go his way, it's like, I think that there's something to that, what that dude is doing.
Yeah.
And then you keep silent about it, to know, to will,
Good or bad.
and to keep,
Good or bad, whatever that person is doing to get his way. Like, you said, I forget the exact words you used, but like.
No, what did you say? What did you say? What did you say?
I said, in a good or bad sense of the.
Oh yeah. It's all good, yeah. But when you see people that are able to do things, that are able to see, it's just people that like high magic is like occultists that have viewed nature and see the occult principles behind the universal forces of everything. Mm-hmm. And it's just like, if you look at everything as the mineral kingdom, the vegetable kingdom, the animal kingdom, the human kingdom, and then there's the macrocosm, right? If you look at shit like that, you don't have to, and then you look at crystals, for instance, the color that they are is gonna correspond to a crystal that I have no idea what an amethyst is for. Amethyst is usually in a Jupiterian ritual.
Amethyst is used for protection.
But
and like.
Well, check this out. Amethyst is it is okay, better yet. A red ruby, right? Have no idea what a red ruby is supposed to be for, but I do know what you would use a red ruby for. It's red. Therefore, red astral light has invaded it. It's going to be filled with. It's going to correspond with your root chakra, your genitals. You'll have more of an animal magnetism to the opposite sex if you carry around a red ruby in your pocket. Let's say fucking green. Or your let's talk about the next one. Or anything orange. Tiger's eye.
I'm really attracted.
Anything orange. And it doesn't, like a topaz. I don't give a shit, like it doesn't matter what the topaz is. Sapphires are usually what? They're usually another color. They're usually blue.
Yeah.
They're not usually like green like that.
Green sapphires are a thing, but yeah.
I got you green, green sapphire because green corresponds to the heart, the heart chakra. Yellow corresponds to what, like if you see a piece of gold, right? Oh yeah, there's the metal kingdom too. Sorry about that. There's the mineral, vegetable, metal, animal. Yeah, because metal is everything has. If you believe in all this shit, you believe in animism, which means everything that's alive, like a live organism, has a consciousness and has
a consciousness of some level.
And metal has a consciousness. It doesn't have much of a consciousness, but it's alive.
Yeah. Vibrates at certain frequencies.
Gold, friend. Gold, when the sun shines down onto a piece of metal and it turns yellow over a certain amount of time, it's a certain mixture of special, a great alloy comes together, and that alloy is able to hold the frequency of yellow, or the divine light of the sun. That's why there's a metal attached to every planet. Right?
Yeah.
It's because of the, I don't know where, I only believe in the colors are, I believe the colors for the chakras are right, and therefore if you know what the colors of the chakras are, you can look at all other colors of everything else and you kind of understand what it's about, right? You can pertain it to a chakra if you know about chakras. And I only give credence to that color system because the 7 main chakras, the colors haven't changed for, I have no idea how long the Vedic India has been around, but it's been around before Sumeria, which they say is the first culture. It's not. It's India. India is the first culture. And they have always, basically for a long time, all their books, all Buddhists and all Hindus nowadays agree that this heart chakra, green. Right below it, solar plexus, yellow.
That kind of explains why green's my favorite color.
Right? So, and then there's orange, then there's red.
What did you say yellow was representative?
Solar plexus, your ego. You're an egomaniac.
Oh God.
You're a narcissist. Yeah, really.
Green and yellow are my favorite colors.
Well,
Green, yellow, and orange.
Well, you think really highly of yourself, or very lowly of yourself, but you do think about yourself nonstop.
Yeah.
Just telling you that.
What is orange?
I love that's Mercury. Communication.
Yeah, I struggle with that.
Meditation, because meditation. I've been talking about like chakras. All these chakras.
I'm good with words, but I struggle with communication. If that makes sense.
Huh?
Somehow I'm good with words, but I struggle with communication.
You could just be my speech.
Like knowing how to articulate my feelings.
I don't really have to much articulate your feelings with me anyways, because you
No.
can just say a few words, I'm like, yeah, I got it, yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know how it is with other people. I don't know. Not good?
Not good. I won't go into detail on the internet, but not good.
We're gonna go swimming.
Yeah, I was thinking with that.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen. Me and the lady, we're gonna be going swim. Antonio Esposito. Ciao.